I'm here with someone who will be familiar to lots of people in the London agency. It's Ralph Barnett, who worked at Ruck London for 4 years, and I'm here talking to Ralph the morning after the night before, when he picked up 4 gold awards in Cannes and 2 Grand Prix for his work on for Tourism Queensland, and the campaign was the best job in the world for his agency, Cummins Nitro.
Yeah, I mean, I'll try and make it as simple as possible, and that is, you know, we created a dream job that we thought, we hoped would appeal to people all around the world. Because the one thing that we all share in common is we all have a job, and most of us actually, in the back of our minds, secretly would love that next step up as far as a job goes. And the notion of a dream job was just a lovely way to showcase the Tourism Queensland product. It was the central thread to the idea all the way through. The notion of, you know, lying around on a beautiful, you know, island with a lot of spending money to go and, you know, hang out and scuba dive. And, you know, it's just absolutely utilising all the assets that Tourism Queensland had on offer, but packaging it up in a new way. So that's it really. You know, we advertised the job in small classified ads and fed that to the media, and it was just a frenzy from there on in. So it was the ultimate feel-good story really. We obviously had a bit of budget to pay. We actually got a freelance PR executive in to work with us quite heavily, but as far as paid media goes, yeah, we really relied on putting out, I guess, eggs in one basket as far as small classified ads, a few online banners, and obviously really focus our attention on the website where the experience would happen and where we could interact with people. We actually had a PR release to about 30 international journalists. Right, the day before we launched the campaign, we also launched it nationally as well. And those 3 key journalists went back to their markets and then basically spread the story from there. So we actually flew those journalists out to Hamilton Island, held the press conference on the island, let them experience the beauty of the islands of Great Barrier Reef firsthand, and then gave them the story and gave them all the assets they needed to then spread it around the world. Well, it's really, it is so difficult now with social marketing to how do you measure, you know, how do you accurately measure how successful it is, and you know, there's so many key, I suppose, measurement systems, like the fact that 34,000 applicants applied, each with a 60-second video. You times that, you know, imagine how many hours of footage is up on the website, and a lot of that footage is not only just applying for the job, but they're actually advocates for the islands of Great Barrier Reef. They're selling the reef as well. So, you know, there's obviously how many people applied, how many people signed up to our ongoing communication, how many hits the site got, how many views the promo teasers got. But I think the most important thing for us is the talkability that went around the world. You know, the way that the media picked it up, and even just, you know, getting calls from people in Italy saying, "I've heard about it." You know, you name it, people were talking about it. So, you know, that was probably our biggest measurement.
You know, I think I'm really interested in, you know, particularly in kind of how you got to the idea that you did. Yeah.
The brief came into us, and when we found out the budget, we knew we had to do something very, very non-traditional to make that splash. So it was a very specific brief as far as what we had to do. You know, raise awareness of the islands of Great Barrier Reef, get people talking about it, and then that was almost stage 1 of the brief, and a few other stages. So yeah, it was a
So it was a wide open brief, and the client was kind of, it was open to.
Yeah, it was one of those. It was one of those dream briefs as far as they weren't expecting, you know, the traditional media. They just said, come back with a big idea. So there were no guarantees that it was going to work. There was no one sitting there saying, we'll do a focus group to see whether this thing's going to get traction. So we had to, you know, trust our instinct that this could potentially go big, and rely on our experience in, you know, all the various advertising solutions and worked on to sort of couple together this new way of, you know, creating.
And was the client into that from day one? Were they like, yeah, come on, you know? With the, I mean, I imagine you guys were all kind of really enthusiastic.
Were they into the idea?
Yeah. Were they, I mean, did they absolutely crap themselves and think, you know, this could all go wrong? Did they need to be dragged along? You know?
There was a certain amount of education. Like when we first presented the idea, what I did was I grabbed a few case studies from around the world, grabbed the great beer delivery from Spain and New Zealand and a few others, and I sort of explained to them, you know, how an idea can really take on and involve and use, and you know, a really big idea can be amazing for the brand outside traditional space. And once they saw those examples and how successful those examples were, I think they relaxed a little with the idea that we're putting on the table. The other thing that we did was we went away. Tourism Queensland are heavily political as far as they have lots of tiers to sell up the idea and lots of offices overseas they have to get buy-in. So we went away and actually cut together a campaign strategy and an outline of how we saw the actual campaign rolling out. So we had, you know, fake media reports, we had, you know, all these things that were, you know, obviously made up. But the crazy thing about it was when we actually cut together the final sort of campaign structure hype video, it's literally the same thing. It's almost identical, so it's just crazy. Ben's first official day at work is in about 7 days, so he should be flying out now. If he's not already there, yeah, he's very excited, very excited. Yeah, it's going to be really interesting to see how it goes, and you know, there's already talk that he could propose to his girlfriend on Heart Reef Island, and all this sort of stuff. So, yeah, watch this space.
Brilliant.
It's an unbelievable experience, you know, something that I'll treasure for the rest of my life. It's a career highlight that I never dreamed possible, and yeah, it's fantastic. The one thing that still excites me is that we're a tiny little agency in a small city. We don't have the massive planners, the senior strategists, and it was about the idea.
Stirring stuff. Cheers, Ralph, and good luck.
Yeah, cheers, mate.